Hello everyone. You know me as Sunny, Maddie, anyone you want to call me, I don't know. I'm going over all of our introductions and our OC applications, in our Warrior Cat Central server. So, yeah. We'll start out with the OC lore first, and since Hanji doesn't have anything in it, we're skipping straight to Seapaw, who unfortunately is, gone. But, still, I thought it was worth it to read. Seapaw, she/her, lesbian. Seapaw was an energetic and rather mischievous kid. She would constantly sneak out of her den early to watch patrols and would only play games that involved her being the strongest and the smartest warrior in Wind Clan. You shouldn't assume she was a stupid kid, as she could be rather clever in certain situations. When Seapaw finally reached the age of 6 moons, she was starstruck when Opal Star deemed her as their apprentice. However, the excitement didn't last long. When Seapaw woke the next morning, she was horrified to find Opal Star, her idol, dead, and Seapaw was shocked, and began to fume as the role of her mentor was passed on to a warrior by the name of Shattered Knight. She couldn't bear to look at him, calling him a distracted lover, and other various insults in her rage. One day, Seapaw decided she would go on her own patrols, convinced that Shattered Knight wouldn't teach her anything. However, when she was out practicing hunting with Mudfeather, a bad lunge sent her head straight into a rock. Seapaw died on impact, unable to be saved. Rest in peace. This is Mishi. Mishi is a kitty pet with amber eyes and white fur with light brown and blue markings. She is 10 moons old at the start of Session 1. Her only remaining kin is Hanji, her older brother, though she considers her 2 legs her kin. She is friends with Nino, the neighbor cat, who is approximately 48 moons old. Mishi is a playful kitty pet living in what she considers to be luxury. She loves playing with her annoying brother, Hanji, and believes that the wildcats are heartless cannibals after hearing about them from Nino. After the wildcats find her and Hanji hiding out in a cave after the storm, Mishi runs back home. She plans to follow her brother, but her 2 legs realize they went missing and keep her inside, alive and well, but sick with missing her brother. She eventually escapes in the night from the 2 legs at about 2 moons later, searching desperately for her lost brother. Worried he's been eaten, she returned to their spot from the rainy night and sniffed around blindly. She slept here, not wanting to wake her 2 legs again, and officially realized she would have to be a wildcat and went hunting. She was discovered on the territory by a border patrol, and tried to retreat. When they tried to take her prisoner, she fought through them. Her only advantage being her quickness and extra fluff from kitty pet life. She lost an eye in the fight from escaping from under a Wind Clan cat's belly and having claws raked on it. Her only goal is to find Hanji now, so she decides to follow the wildcat's scent. She is no longer a kidding kitty pet, she is a loner. More after Season 2. And yes, I will be covering Session 2's lore as well. Mudpaw. I think. Mudpaw with Yingsoul. Yippee. Yingsoul. Pronouns she/her. Age current 32. RP start 24. Clan and role Wind Clan young warrior. Appearance and characteristics black and white cat with unique white star on her forehead and a berry leaf curled around her ear. Soft blue eyes. Yingsoul is known for her calm thinking and peaceful moves. She loves Star Clan and yearns for more connection with them, but she knows she is only a warrior. Background and lore. Yingsoul was originally born in RiverClan and raised in RiverClan until she was 4 moons old. Then a cat took her when she wandered too far from the camp to get a drink of water. The cat proceeded to take her to Wind Clan. since they didn't have that many kits at the time and apprentices were coming fewer and fewer. Ying Kit grew into Ying Paw and was mentored to hunt and fight in the moors, but she always seemed to love the gorge and would often sneak out to visit it. The leader then passed away due to classified information, and Distant Star claimed her spot as its leader. Older warriors and elders would mysteriously leave or die, and younger cats were brought up to follow the code, not to believe in StarClan anymore. Only Ying Paw knew about StarClan and was the only one talking to them. Finally climbing her way up to being a warrior, Ying Paw earned her warrior name, Ying Soul. Not shortly after she was made a warrior, in fact a couple of days, she was given an apprentice called Sagepaw. Ying Soul took Sagepaw under her wing, telling him stories about StarClan and their warrior ancestors that watched overhead. At first, Sagepaw hesitated, but then started to believe. A couple of other apprentices started to gravitate around Ying Soul's stories about StarClan and the ways of the clan before Distant Star took their role of leader. Once the apprentices were old enough, Ying Soul traveled to the Moonstone with them to show them StarClan was real. After talking to their warrior ancestors, Sagepaw announced that they leave to go to the River Clan, to a clan that believes in StarClan. Ying Soul agreed and took the apprentices to River Clan. A few days in, Ying Soul felt she had came home and felt peaceful at last. RiverClan's medicine cat then announced she found WingClan's leader and a few others dying on the riverbank next to the bridge. Ying Soul immediately went there and felt bad leaving WingClan without anybody believing in StarClan, so after she said her farewells, she returned to the clan, teaching them about StarClan, though, time to time, she can hear her leader's voice in her head telling her, "Follow the code or die living your fantasy." Voice claim and Walker from Alex Versus book series. Also like Padme Amidala from Star Wars Revenge of the Sith. May change as the RP goes. Credits to Ender for making this wonderful format for my OCs. And these are some screenshots, so you guys can see what she looks like a little bit. I also love that screenshot. So this is Lurk, which I have not read, actually. Appearance: black fur with jagged white markings, cold blue eyes that rarely soften. Backstory: Lurk Star was born in the depths of Leaf Bear, where prey was scarce and the wind cut through the dens like claws. His mother died from green cough when he was barely a moon old, and his father was slain protecting the camp from rogues. Raising the elders done, he quickly learned that kindness didn't fill bellies and hesitation got cats killed. As an apprentice, Lurk Star was a silent shadow, listening, observing, and remembering everything. He trained harder than anyone else, not because he wanted glory, but because he wanted to make sure no cat under his watch would ever be as helpless as he had been. By the time he earned his warrior name, he had already become one of the most dependable fighters in Storm Clan. At 16 moons old, disaster struck. A violent border skirmish with another clan left the leader and deputy dead, along with several senior warriors. The clan was thrown into confusion until Lurkthorn, as he was known then, stepped forward. His voice was low but steady. "I've seen what happens when we hesitate. We can't afford that now. I'll lead." Despite his youth, his battle experience and unshakable discipline convinced the elders to agree. Taking the name Lurkstar, he ruled with an iron paw, patrols, schedules becoming stricter, training more grueling, and every cat was expected to be battle ready at all time. He rarely smiled, but every decision he made was to keep Storm Clans alive. Personality believes rules are the only thing keeping the clan from falling apart. Calculating makes choices based on survival, not sentiment. Protection would rather be feared than loved if it means his clan is safe. Oh man, poor Lurk. Dude. He did not deserve it. Okay. Hyacinth Kit /Paw/Wish. Mostly a work in progress. I'll include lore, but it will get updated soon. Some of his lore involved my other OC, Chestnut. However, she's only involved when he's a very young kid. I'll update this bit later. Can't post pics right now, but I'll just explain his lore. Hyacinth Kit, he shall say, was born to a kitty pet named Chestnut. However, due to Chestnut's 2 legs struggling to take care of her, let alone her kit, her 2 legs was very old age and had health complications. Chestnut, however, could not leave her behind, even if she was somewhat neglected, such as her fur being matted from not being taken care of. Whilst Chestnut had made her choice in staying, she could not leave her kit to be with her 2 legs, so she decided to give her kit to a close friend who was a warrior of ThunderClan. Hyacinth Kit was named due to white hyacinth petals sticking to his fur during his travels to ThunderClan. He has no memory of his mother and doesn't even know that they were born a kitty pet. They've always assumed he was clan-born. Hyacinth Kit is a brown, medium, short-haired Thay kitty who is rather shy but determined. However, he's also a bit clumsy, which might hold him back. Who knows? Sorry, some stuff didn't make sense. Again, some of his lore might change. And then, here's some pictures for you all. Man, I love these OC designs, dude. I know for a fact Daisy Speckle isn't done, so I won't be reading that one. This one's long. Mudswirl, Mudpaw, pronouns he/him, age current. 52 moons, RP start 9, apprentice of ThunderClan, appearance and characteristics, yellow, orange, a brown cat with white paws with black speckles on them. Mudswirl is a gruff warrior who likes to get things done in an orderly fashion. This is going to be darker, so pre-warning. Mudkit was born in ThunderClan, with 2 parents by his side, until he reached 4 moons. His mother dropped dead for unknown reasons. A short while later, his father did the same, and he was left alone in the nursery until a few other kits found that they were abandoned by their parents, also died sometime. Mudkit went to the elders and one of the warriors in the clan, Quail Rush, for stories to escape the loneliness. Suddenly a sickness spread through the clan and a lot of cats died, as well as the leader. Spotted Pelt then chose Quail Thrush to lead the clan. When Quail Thrush went to the Moonstone and didn't return, Mudkit was devastated by this and tried to hide his pain by being cheerful and still asking for stories. Mudkit grew onto Tree Pelt as the elder daily told stories to Mudkit in the nursery. One day, a StarClan cat appeared next to Mudkit's side while Tree Pelt was telling a story. It didn't seem that Tree Pelt could see the cat, but Mudkit could. After Tree Pelt left, Mudkit started asking questions. And the StarClan cat explained that she would be looking over him because he had been chosen for something great. She also assured that she was going to stay with him until that happened. Mudkit was excited to have a StarClan cat next to his side, since he often wondered what StarClan was. When he was turned 6 moons old, with all the other kits, he thought that he would get an apprentice ceremony, but Stormstar ignored him and made the other kits apprentices and gave them great mentors. Heartbroken, the StarClan cat said she would teach him a few things in the time being. Mudkit perked up at this and agreed. She took him hunting in a few places in the territory, leaving Sunning Rocks for last. And the StarClan cat guided Mudkit to the Sunning Rocks and sat on one of the stepping stones, gesturing for him to sit next to her. She explained how she came from RiverClan and didn't get a chance to raise her own kits. The StarClan cat had taught him how to swim in the river, Mudkit barely getting it before he could drown. A patrol of ThunderClan cats then came as well as a loner called Apollo. They ranted to the patrol how ThunderClan took all their friends from them, and almost lashed out at the patrol before Mudkip stepped in, trying to calm down the loner. Apollo started to get annoyed at the kid, but then Mudkip offered Apollo a place in ThunderClan. Apollo seemed to hesitate, but then ran off. The StarClan cat guided it home. Oh my god. Guided him home. And back in the nursery, since it was getting dark and the stars were out. As Mudkip trained with the StarClan cat, Apollo suddenly joined ThunderClan as an apprentice, and Mudkip teased Apollo that they finally took up his offer. One day, Mudkip awoke to find his StarClan cat gone. No note, no goodbye. At first, he was stunned by this, thinking that the StarClan cat went out or was just waiting in the clearing for him, but he couldn't deny the emptiness feeling crawling in his chest. Mudkip went out to find the leader waiting for him, saying that he would now be given a mentor, apologizing for forgetting him. Mudkip shrugged off his apology, but was eager to get a real mentor. He was apprenticed to Diamond Stripe, a quiet she-cat that seemed nervous to take him on. When Mudpaw seemed to know everything already, Diamond Stripe seemed relieved that he was an amazing apprentice. She taught him how to fight an ambush from up above, explaining how no clan cat was expecting an ambush from above. After a while, Diamond Stripe announced to Stormstar that he was ready after completing his apprentice test. Stormstar then gave him his warrior name, Mudswirl. Mudswirl soon attended his first gathering as a warrior, but this was no ordinary gathering. Also, just checking the video time that I have going on. I'll probably wrap this up after this. I will be making multiple parts to this, by the way. Stormstar then gave him his warrior name, Mudswirl. Soon attended his first gathering as warrior, but this was no ordinary gathering. ThunderClan arrived at 4 trees, as well as RiverClan and ShadowClan and WindClan. As well as RiverClan and ShadowClan. WindClan didn't come for a while, but they only had a few, and no medicine cat, no deputy, and certainly no leader. Everyone seemed surprised that Yingstar was dead, since she was fierce and young. Suddenly, the clouds covered the moon except for one spot. Mudswirl was highlighted in the darkness, and everyone went quiet. Sandstar, the ShadowClan leader, broke the silence, announcing that this young ThunderClan warrior would become WindClan's leader. At first, Stormstar was hesitant to give up one of his warriors, but Blackstar immediately agreed, gesturing for Mudswirl to come join them. Mudswirl slowly went up to the high rock, the moon's light following him until he put a paw on the rock. The clouds dissipated and everyone was put in the moon's light again. The gathering continued on, and Mudswirl sat quietly next to Sandstar. When the gathering was over, Sandstar said he would accompany him to Dreampelt, his medicine cat. Mudswirl agreed and led WindClan back to camp, getting lost a few times before finding the camp. All the cats that had attended the gathering, who were from WindClan, were all the cats left from WindClan. Mudswirl knew he had his work cut out for him. Mudswirl gained 9 lives, and he was hoping his StarClan cat would be there, but she was a no-show. Disappointed, Mudstar said to head back, and Sandstar said they'd part ways once they leave High Stones. Mudstar made his way home and slept under the stars instead of the leader's den. Mudstar immediately called a meeting and appointed Bisonpelt as deputy. Mudstar instructed that they would head over to the barn and find some loners to find if some loners would like to join them, and then head to Kitty Pet Place. The warrior seemed hesitant, but agreed. Mudstar found some loners that would join, and one that knew herbs and medicine. Mudstar announced Cypress Paw would train under the rogue for means of herb use, and trained under him for StarClan. The clan was confused by his decision, but followed along as well. Unfortunately, the clan cats scared away the kitty pets and they headed home, but their clan was growing. Over the next moons, Mundstar led the clan, slowly building it up from the ground. Voice claim, Mufasa from Mufasa and the Lion King. Credits to Ender for the OC outline. My gosh, I like that. Whew. Okay, I'm gonna try and squeeze in one more, and that's gonna be me. One of my OCs, Killblind. Killblind is a closed-off and quiet she-cat. She will usually only interact with fellow clanmates if she's really up for it, or if it's actually necessary. I'll be posting some pictures later for you to see her full morph, but she is a black and gray cat. She's half blind from an accident when she was 10 moons old. That accident begins here. Killblind was born to 2 rogue cats, one of her parents, her mother, a rogue that left Wing Clan, and her other parent, her father, being one who separated from Shadow Clan. Killblind had been learning to perfect her hunting skills for a while, and was finally beginning to do so, except for one day that she accidentally ran across the forest floor and kicked up a branch. The branch struck her dead in the eye, and turns out she was permanently stuck with damage. Vision mostly just blurry, until one day it was just completely dark on that side of her face. In the future, she made close friends with a young Tom, a loner. The two grew up quite a few moons side by side, up until Killblind was 15 moons. The two were crossing the Thunder Path, and a monster unexpectedly swerved out in front of them. At that same moment, Killblind picked up speed, racing across, yet when she looked back over at the crossing, her friend was gone. In Session 1, Lunar Ball, Shatter Knight, and Killblind actually visited the Thunderpath when they were showing Lunar Paw around. And this is why I noted here, this is why she got triggered going to the Thunderpath with Lunar Paw and Shattered Knight. Which I think it's Shattered Knight, actually. I'll add to that later. After this loss, she finally got tired of life as a rogue, even if it could lead to more losses. She decided to join the clan of her mother, Wing Clan, with some difficulty. She convinced them to let her become a warrior, quickly proving herself to the leader. In current roleplay, she's at least 26 moons. And then took some screenshots earlier. But I will be making a part 2 of this all, and you'll have to hang in here with me. Anyway, that's all for me. Goodbye.